Board of Appeals to order. We'll start with our Pledge of Allegiance and then follow it with a moment of silence.
How that first building?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation.
Okay, I'll call the meeting as we can today with.
For all.
Thank you. Okay, I just want to go over our procedures here and then we'll get started. Procedure for variance requests. Applicant will present the request for the variances and the reasons why they are necessary. The board can question the applicant. Have a discussion about that. After the board and applicant are comfortable with the information presented, the floor is then open to the audience in the room and on Zoom. All questions are to be directed to the board, not to the applicant. Each person must limit comments to a duration generally less than 5 minutes. When the applicant and board are comfortable that all necessary information has been presented, hearing will be closed. And then we have 62 days to make a decision. We generally will make the decision on the night when it's discussed. Occasionally, if there other information is needed, it can be carried over to the next meeting. Okay, we're going to go a little bit out of our agenda here briefly. Mike, you have a presentation about form-based code changes.
So first off, I want to thank you guys for letting me go first. My wife is not happy with me. It's my 3rd meeting this week, and I got 4 more next week, all after hours. So I appreciate it.
You can keep it brief then.
Under 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So we're going to go over first form-based code. Form-based code is going through what we're going to call a repeal and then a new total adoption. Okay. The reason why we are doing that is we started with red line, which I believe you guys saw. That red line was very confusing. All right. I wrote it, so I know how confusing that was as far as trying to follow it. Under the advice of council, we transitioned form-based code from a standalone document to being formatted just like any other section of town code. That's the good news. Bad news, a lot of the stuff has changed within it. Okay. Part of that is town staff, town board, ordinance committee, the zoning board, planning board. We've taken all the considerations of all those groups and we've put it all into this new document. We believe that this document better quantifies what the town board was looking for in correlation with the Uptown Corridor study that was done in 2017 and 2018, as well as with the 2021 comprehensive plan update. As far as ZBA items, we have, I'll get to my notes here, I apologize. We've removed or relaxed certain maximum setbacks and build to zone constraints that were frequently requested for variances. We've also clarified the treatment of legally existing non-conforming buildings, their site layout and lighting standards. So we've reduced a lot of those implications that, you remember that old matrix as we called it? If you touch 50% of the lighting, everything had to be new. We reduced a lot of that. We understood that that was a very large ask for a section of town that ultimately we don't want to inhibit renovations, alterations, stuff like that. We've also adjusted transparency, probably the #1 thing that we got yelled at about all the time, not just from applicants, but also architects. I spent a lot of time with several design professionals from around the state. Those transparency numbers could be done, but we were asking a lot out of a contractor and developer. So we have significantly reduced those, especially for residential buildings. Okay. Beyond that, we also aligned form-based code signage to be the same as our regular townwide signage code. We still have a standalone signage chapter or section within the form-based code chapter, but if you recall, we had several variances for multiple business or tenant identification signs on businesses because for some reason the code only allowed 1 sign on a building. We've now transitioned all of our signage to allow 1 type of sign for each use or tenant within that space for this square footage based on the amount of street frontage for that occupancy. So the exact same as we have. Besides that, we went through and we really changed around the process. That'll be probably one of the biggest things that you will see for where the planning board was overseeing the approval of projects, that being residential occupancies that were 3 or less, as well as any commercial development that was 5,000 square feet or less. All of that will now be done administratively in our office without any board oversight for the approval, with the exception of variances. We've removed the town board from those projects that were over those thresholds. Now, all of those projects, they're only going to the planning board. So none of that confusing ping pong of you're going to planning board, then zoning board, then planning board. So ultimately, that's the quick about 4-minute synopsis I think I made it in. I did send a memo along today, as well as the full clean copy of form-based code. Like I said, there is no red line because it is a full repeal and adoption of new code. Okay. I welcome any comments or questions. I will say ordinance this is probably the one code that in my tenure, we've taken the longest amount of time on. I think even in our town attorney's tenure, this has probably been the longest code that we've worked on. 10 months?
Yeah, 9.
Oh, okay. I was wrong.
Can I just ask you,
Yeah.
you know this better than anybody right now, as you look at these developed properties, what would the percentage of them be pre-existing non-conforming as they stand right now?
All but one. All but one are pre-existing non-conforming that have been developed. So in some sense, right? It may not be so much as transparency, it may be in building setback, it may be in landscaping, it may be in lighting. But that's anytime you create a new zoning district, unfortunately, all of those will predominantly be pre-existing non-conforming. Our goal is that this new code reduces a lot of the frustration that applicants and property owners saw with trying to do additions and renovations and remodels, as well as the frustrations that those with the undeveloped sites, of which there are quite a few within that form-based code area, to go with longer approval processes, more stringent architectural measures, and higher construction costs. Any other questions on form-based code? I know I just rambled off a lot. What I will say is that the public hearing was opened last night at the town board level. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get our draft out in time like I was hoping to go to county planning. So the town board has kept that public hearing open until the April meeting so that we can get comments back from all the boards as well as county planning board. Okay. We've got another few minutes, just one other code that is coming before you guys. This one doesn't really have any impact on the ZBA, but we wanted to make sure that you guys were aware of. Okay. This has to deal with chapter 165, which is titled our soil erosion and sedimentation control chapter. Ultimately, this chapter right now has 2 thresholds for permit requirements. Threshold number 1 is townwide, anything over 20,000 square feet or 100 cubic yards of fill or cut requires a soil erosion control permit. The second threshold was anything within the residential lake district and then 5 other site constraints. That would be steep slopes, wetlands, floodplains, stuff like that. That threshold was 500 square feet or 5 cubic yards of cut or fill. We've removed that 20,000 square foot threshold and 100 cubic yards, and everything now for land development or land disturbance at 500 square feet or 5 cubic yards of cut or fill will require a soil erosion control permit. Okay. We did that because as staff, it got very confusing. Someone would call and what should be a very simple few-minute discussion turned into, I got to pull site plans. I got to do some actual work on the computer with GIS to make sure you're not in a steep slope area. There was also instances where we would argue with people who were just under those thresholds about stabilizing their sites, installing silt fence. So 10,000 square feet of building area is still a very large area that we want to make sure is stabilized. That way we can better promote the health and integrity of our lake and our water features.
What's the agricultural portion of that?
So agriculture is exempt. Okay. So that comes from New York State Ag and Markets. Okay. So agriculture horticulture, silviculture, and any regular maintenance is all exempt. So this would be mainly tied with those building permits that my office issues, where there is a threshold for disturbance. All right. Do you guys have my contact info? If there's any questions, which I'm sure there are, especially with form-based code, read through that document, reach out to myself, Mike Warner, Dan, or Kristen in our office. And last thing, I just want to thank all the work you guys do. It's been amazing. All right. Perfect. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We don't need to vote on that. Nope. Okay, let's go back to the beginning of our first variance request is from 4351 Titchener Point Drive. It's a request for a generator that exceeds 15 square feet in area. It now must be considered an accessory structure because of its size. So go ahead and present that.
Yeah, so because due to the size of the HVAC system of this particular house, the owner went heavily into the geothermal. There's about 20 wells on site that all use geothermal, and then that has about 5 different air handlers that all kind of run off that. They have multiple car chargers. They also have an electric boat charger. So that kind of jumps up the size of the generator for this particular project, and that increases the size of it. And then because of that increase in size, we need a variance to have a secondary structure because there's already a pool and a hot tub on site. So that would be our only real extra structure outside of the main footprint of the house. And the generator is going to go on the north side. The reason for the location, we do have a landscape plan that was developed by Dan Hackett just to show the buffering around the generator, but that's where the power is and everything is there, and that's where everything has been dead ended. So that was where there was a main line that came into there of a power pole. That power pole was dropped and went underground, and that is the best location to place it.
You said north side?
Yeah, it's right here.
Okay.
But due to the size of it and the required KVWs, that's the pad is a little bit larger than your normal whole house generator from a 7 to a 26 KVW.
So it's not anything to do with setback, it is just.
No, it's just an additional.
No, there's like,
Yeah, because of the
Yep.
the spa and the pool are technically, this is considered our accessory structure. That would be our second one. There's nothing else on the site, and there's no plan to put anything else on the site.
And I saw there is a landscaping. plan.
There is, I uploaded it to the cloud. It's just a buffer zone around it to try to, to shade it from the neighbor.
I think the
And then we were
ECB,
talking,
ECB or there.
and then we were talking with the neighbor to the north, and the orientation might change just a little bit to make sure that wherever the exhaust is, it's pointed directly away from the house and not toward the house. That was one of the comments from the neighbor, so.
How far from that line is it?
I think about 14 feet from that corner is the closest corner, so from here to this point is 14. Setback's 12.
It said 72 decibels. Was the
Yeah, so I think it's
level.
about
How does that compare to other generators?
that. That's a good question. I don't know that offhand.
72.
Yeah, we've had that.
I think 72 is like a loud exhaust fan. Probably. It's not very loud.
72 decibels.
One of the neighbors had that question.
Mhm.
Moderate to loud sound level roughly equivalent to a vacuum cleaner, dishwasher, or heavy traffic. Often described as similar to a loud conversation or a car driving at 60 miles per hour. It's just AI from
Yeah.
Google and that. Electric.
So no louder than the kids on the lake with those fast boats.
Oh,
They make a lot of
when
noise.
you turn 80,
Like 4 years ago.
those kids.
Kids. I used to be one. Not anymore. But like I said, that's what the variance is for, and like I said, because of the size of the generator and the significant, geothermal system that's there, it requires that size.
I think that's the level we've had presented to us before.
I think it's pretty normal. It's just a bigger unit.
The other question was from one of the neighbors' letters, how often is it gonna be running other than?
I believe it'll be, I think it's half an hour a day. It's got like a generative cycle on it. That's, I think, I don't know exactly what the cycle is, but
Half an hour a day, or
I have to double check that.
Usually they're
they're usually
I
once
think
a
it might be
week?
once a week, maybe. I don't know what the large, I know like the typical
Yeah.
7 to 26 kVW is like once a week. I don't know if the larger ones are. But we can, I can add that in a minute. But all the specs have been uploaded.
Anthony, is this gas? It's not net gas down there, is it?
Natural gas.
Well, there is, okay.
Yeah, they ran a line down from the road. So
I
there's
didn't know there was net gas that far.
Yeah, the natural gas runs on our side of the road. And they brought it down, they drilled down to access for the pool here and then also for this. So, yep, it's there.
Any questions of the board? You satisfied with your
Yes.
information you given? Anyone in the audience have any questions? That includes at home? There's one neighbor there, but it's. He's gone. Okay.
If it was okay, I was.
Yeah, okay. Oh,
We were having some audio issues.
Okay. Those are the questions.
That's the one we want too.
Oh, unmute. Wait a minute. You are muted.
You were actually.
We can hear you now.
Can you hear us?
Yep, we can.
Thank you.
Any questions? Because you're the closest to it of anybody around here.
Okay, we just got connected. Where do you stand right now? Where are we? What are we doing?
It was presented to us and we asked a few questions and I guess we're where we will take information or questions from the audience.
Okay, we're concerned about the noise.
Okay, yeah, you missed that. It's 72 decibels, which is, I think, similar to other generators. You want to read that list again?
similar to a dishwasher or a loud conversation or a car traveling at 60 miles per hour.
Oh, that doesn't sound objectionable.
Vacuum cleaner also, I think.
That's true.
Yeah. And I think, Dick, it runs, I think, just usually it's a half an hour per week to recharge.
Yeah, it's the weekly thing that causes the problem. When there's a power outage, nobody minds the noise.
Right.
It's just that they keep exercising them all the time.
And I think we probably, I don't know, I think probably could set up, have them maybe check with neighbors to see when would be the best time to do that.
Yeah, we
Right.
definitely said
Six in the morning probably wouldn't be a good idea.
Yeah.
Maybe
Right.
set up for like noon or something like that, but also then it's like, when is the good time? You know, like during the summer, it could be a totally different time, like it might be better to be like 11 o'clock where.
Yeah.
It, you know, it's more of the, but we can definitely set that schedule. We can come up with a time that would probably be the best. Not a problem.
Okay.
You still there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We turn the sound up. We can hear a lot better. We're real good with this computer.
Any other concerns or questions?
No,
How often would they be testing it?
once a week.
Usually it's once a week, yeah. Some of the newer ones, it's every other week.
Yeah, it would be nice if it was just once a month. We have one next door to us now that goes off every week and it's right next door.
The Kohler 150 ERESC standby generator should be generally set to exercise test run once a week for 15 to 20 days.
Uh-huh. For 15 minutes?
15 to 20, it said,
15 to 20, yeah.
Okay.
It's-
Anyone else with any comments, questions? Okay. Anthony,
No.
you go ahead.
No, and this, the green thing we're looking at now, that's the location of it with some shrubbery around it?
Yes,
Okay,
it's on the north corner.
right.
Okay, if everybody's satisfied with what's been presented, we can close the public hearing. We have 62 days to make a decision. We'll try and get to it tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. 5465 Johnson Road. Eric LeGret,
I'm back.
you're back.
We missed it.
It's a lot width variance of 83.2 feet where 200 feet is required and 116 is proposed. The R2 district.
If you want to just pull up the site plan, we'll kind of show the survey. So the
A lot of stuff.
right now we have it's a single family house on a lot, 5-acre lot. The goal is to create a second building lot to create a single family house toward the rear of the property. Right now we have 200 feet of frontage on the existing house that's going to be there, and then about 100. Can you zoom in? I don't know exactly what it is off there.
It's 116.
116. It's 116 for the frontage that we're looking for when we need 200. The object is to bring in a driveway at some point down and then over and then develop the rear of the property to put a single family home and the utilities go along with it. Septic, water and electric all run back there. The driving force is they want to build in Canandaigua, and we're looking for land. They've been looking for land for a while, and this seems to be the best suit for their purposes. As far as where the building's going to go, as you're coming down Johnson Road, it's going to be tucked back behind the existing house, so it's really not going to add to significant amounts of traffic because it's a single family home. You really won't see it that much. It's going to be behind the existing house and kind of hidden down the way that it kind of comes downhill as we come from Johnson to the south. As far as kind of talking about the general area, there's another zoning chart I just put together, should be like miscellaneous, of kind of the Johnson Road, Wells Curtis, Middle Cheshire block, showing how it's been developed over the years in these districts. Pull it up real quick. It should be there. I just saw it. Of tax map frontage. This is just kind of a blow up of the area showing the lots in red. We're green. The lots in red are all different lots in this general block that are sub 200. There's two right down the street from us that are 143 and 137. There's a few what we define as flag lots in the town of Canandaigua or any other towns where you have that really thin strip of land that's 20 feet wide or 30 feet wide or things of that nature. And in this situation, I really wouldn't define what we're trying to accomplish as a flag lot. I mean, it is a wide piece of land that's coming back. We're not asking for a 60-foot. We're asking for something that's not too aggressive, I believe. But as you see this, there are plenty of examples in the neighborhood of things that are extremely considered flag lots, where you're talking 5 houses off of one driveway and they all have 10 feet of frontage. We're not really trying to cram anything in there. We're trying to keep with what you would call the character of the neighborhood. And like I said, we'll be far enough off the road where any future house would be tucked back and really not noticeable as passersby and people in the community, other than your general neighbors would have the house in the backyard of the existing one. So if you have any questions.
I guess.
So we have questions.
Not ready.
Could you bring the line west to the setback? And so you'd have the existing lot would be 175 and then add that.
We'd have two variances.
Yeah, but you'd have a thicker, wider lot.
Right, but then we would need two variants instead of one. So we're trying to get one single variance for lot. We need 200, we don't really, we have 200 and then 100.
This lot is exactly
Yeah.
200.
We're about 60 feet shy of it for total frontage.
Oh,
The only way to develop this with another single family house, the way that they're looking to develop it is to get a variance for the lot frontage. So they looked at ADUs and the new ADU law. In this situation, I don't believe the ADU law really it's all the items that they're looking to do. The ADU law is not really there for two single family homes on a lot. It just doesn't work well when you're talking about the septic load and things of that nature. I mean, the ADU is just meant to be a small little building and not a single family home.
I think a number of the letters we had were from people on Little Cheshire Road there that and were putting the house in the back of their houses. You know,
Can you pull up the Encore to look at just the overall image of the? So the goal would be to have the house,
yeah,
so it really does mean,
it's farther. Okay, it's farther from.
I mean, far enough off the road that really, I don't personally think it would be a huge impact to the neighborhood.
Can I add anything, or is it enforces?
VR's, the homeowners are here, they would want to say something. Yeah, you're more than welcome.
So I mean, I guess. So for what it's worth, this will not be like a 3-story bed and breakfast. It will be a very small ranch. And that's pretty much all I have to add. Okay. So in terms of like sightlines and stuff like that. Okay, that's all I have to say.
Appreciate that.
And that should be, no.
You all type of email us.
That is a pertinent thing.
Which one?
Because, neighbors are concerned about views.
No, I understand.
Can you go back to the, for a second? Yes, please. This piece right here. This was just divided recently, when I sent you the email, so I mean, that, it's only, sense of the neighborhood.
Hard when you're not there.
did this board grant variance on that?
No, this was before, I was here, so I didn't see the board granted variance, because they're both under 200 feet.
They must have been at some point.
Yeah, it must have done something.
I don't remember.
That wasn't on water.
I don't know if you mean like recently, like in the last 6 months.
No. Not that recent.
Yeah. It's been a little while. This has been like
We shouldn't be remembering it.
8 years.
We don't have to worry.
No. It's not like you just did it. But that is the closest example of being under it and really, it fits the character of the neighborhood. No one's really.
But those are straight lots, correct? I mean, those are straight lots. We would be creating a flag lot.
I mean, I would call it like a dog leg lot. I mean, a flag lot is, in theory, this really narrow strip, and then we get bigger. This has got 100 and some odd feet of width to it.
There is a calculation, right?
What?
The flag lot that it can't be any more than two
Greater than the
Width and the length.
2.5 times the width.
If you're greater than 3 acres, we're at 3 acres, so we don't count for that.
Right.
Okay.
Anything more that we want?
No, just if there's any questions in here.
Board have any other?
It's-
Yeah, we'll open it up to the crowd here in the room and online.
Maybe it would help if we have, I don't know, something we can see. So it looks like a lot of the neighbors are saying it doesn't impact their view. See where they're coming from. It didn't look like they were all immediately. Maybe I just assumed those ones.
There were a couple from Wells Curtis. And there was on that petition, there were a couple of people, I think, on Johnson Road on both sides. Anyone in the audience who has any online, has any comments?
Hey, can we comment?
Yes, go ahead. Yep.
Yes, we have comments.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Hello, my name is James Silbert. I live at 5471 Johnson Road. Brenda Barber is with me. First, we never got an official notification. We're down in Florida. That's why we're Zooming right now. So we never got any letter or anything from the town. We did put a forwarding address on. That's the first thing. Second of all, I like the 17, number, but I like Josh Allen. I like St. Patty's Day, but my sister passed November 17th. My dad, December 17th. My mom had a stroke February 17th. So 17th is not my favorite number right now. Other than that, I don't like a house behind another house, especially when it's going to affect our view. It's going to devalue our property. It's going to have an environment impact. Also, the whole area, if you look around it, was designed with the 200-foot of frontage to keep the character of the landscape the way it is, and which everybody wants. That's why there was a petition. I could have done more if I was home, but I found out the day we were leaving, the day before we left, Paula came over and said something. That's how we find out, which, to me, it seems like this was pre-planned for why we were gone. But anyways, I just think that the property that we are, we are at now, I really like the way it is. It only took me 38 years to get there. I honestly believe that there are properties other than that. There's actually a house for sale on Wells Curtis. Somebody wants a view, they could go to Wells Curtis and have a view. Why should I lose my view so they can have a view? I just think that's wrong. You got light pollution now back out there for the wildlife and stuff like that. I don't know, Brenda, you can ask anything
Well, the
else.
precedent of more people
Oh.
being able to do this in the neighborhood.
Yes.
It's very upsetting to a lot of the neighbors that we've talked to from Florida. Unfortunately, it'd be easier for us to be there because we're having a little difficult hearing everything that's being said. We are seeing the pictures and we understand what they want to do. We still are totally against it. We oppose it, and we hope you do too. The value of our property, we've talked to some realtors, and they said that would devalue our property, having houses behind us. We did send in some pictures from our backyard showing if we were outside in the backyard, that side where their property home would be built would obviously be in our view. And having more of those show up later is not something we want to see happen in the future.
I also talked to Mike Rainey, and Paula had asked him if he would sell 100-foot of more to her so her son could build a home. He said he didn't want any homes on top of him or any more homes. That's why he's got 16 acres. So when this was proposed to him, I asked him about it. He goes, I told her I didn't want to sell any property. I really don't want a house behind a house. I like the quietness, and that's what everybody in the neighborhood really likes. That's why they got chunks of land. They don't have any houses on it, but the ones up by the road, if you want a house, just build it by the road. I don't have a problem with that, but not behind another house or in our view. Like I said, when I was 19 years old, I wanted to move to Canandaigua. I didn't get there until 2013. That's a long wait, but through attrition, that happens. And that's what I'm hoping everybody there can hear us, all the people in the neighborhood. If I was home, I would have done a better job planning against this. But here I am. I did get people to write letters, and my daughter came all the way from Hamlin, or I should say Hilton. They had people sign the petition that I had filled out, and she told them who filled it out and all that. So that's the best I could do.
Great. We certainly appreciate your comments. I think it does echo others that we've heard. Anyone else have any comments?
What was the address of?
Pardon me?
What was his address?
Mr. Hilbert, what's your address?
It's 5471 Johnson Road, Canandaigua, New York.
Let me split.
Okay. Anyone else online?
Chairman, I had a question or a comment.
Yes.
Hi, this is Rob Belcourse from 5485 Johnson Road. I just want to make a note of what Anthony said about the lots being all flag lots a lot around us. All those lots were done well before the zoning laws came into effect in that area. And that's one thing that we've been trying to do in the town is stop these flag lots, mainly because of character of where we live and how we live in our land. So just be cautious of, well, they're there, but they've been there for years. And Johnson is pretty much filled up pretty much right now, other than the field across from the property they're talking about. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Crowe. Anyone else?
Hello? Hello?
Yes.
This is Ed Barno.
Yes.
Okay, 5380 Johnson Road. We're right across from the Rennie's house there, and we can see this lot from our house. And we're concerned about visual and character of the neighborhood, but I believe that what she's doing is she's creating a self-imposed hardship. And that should not warrant a decision for a variance. And the second thing is that the soils back in that corner are not suitable for septic systems. And we're all on septic system on the street. So just a couple of things for the planning board to be considering. We're against this creating flag lots on Johnson Road. The road, like Mr. LaCour says, that we're filled up. Johnson Road is filled. The property that he mentioned across from this is owned by a fellow who owns the property behind it over on Kramer Road. So it's a matter of the properties are filled up now, and to start shoehorning houses in, I don't think that's right, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
No. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say. I mean,
well, first of all, this is.
Come on up and just.
Oh, gets my blood boiling. This is our mother-in-law's house. My husband has always wanted to build on that property since she moved there 10 years ago. We've always thought about it.
got married there.
We got married there in her backyard. We want our kids to be able to live in Canandaigua and go to Canandaigua school districts. However, we financially cannot buy a house anywhere in Canandaigua right now or buy land without it being astronomically high. To take that in the fact, my mother-in-law is getting older. She will need someone to start helping take care of her in the future. And we cannot do the ADU law because, like Anthony said, it's for a single, maybe one or two people. We have a family of 5. We have 3 small kids that are just starting school. So this is the only thing we can do to be able to get into Ontario County and to fulfill my husband's dreams, you know? So as of right now, that's all I have to say. Sorry, but thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Can I speak again? I don't know how this works. Hello?
Just one more comment.
Yeah,
Try to keep it
let
short.
me know when I can talk. That's all.
Go ahead.
She says, I checked with the realtors around there, and there are places for sale around there, lots for sale. there's homes for sale. Like I said, there's a home right on Wells Curtis right now for only $219,000. So it's like a made up hardship. You know what? Everybody has to wait their turn to get to some places. I believe I had to wait 38 years. I don't expect him to wait 38 years, but there are places in Canandaigua. This is not hardship like you don't have a home or something. You can't find a place. You can find a place. It's you want a view. You want to ruin my view to have your view. I think that's totally wrong. I didn't wait 38 years. And when we bought the place, we thought that's what it was going to be like. People got 5 acres or 16 acres, whatever it is. They need 200 foot of frontage. It sounds perfect. Now it's like somebody has a game and they want to change the rules on you. I don't think that's right. I guess that's about all I got to say.
Anyone else? Okay. You comfortable with us closing the public hearing?
Yeah, I think so. I think everything's.
Public,
Just one item, James mentioned that he did not receive a letter. I did verify in our system. The letter was mailed to him at the Johnson Road Canandaigua address.
Yeah.
I don't know if it had it forwarded right but
this has come up a couple times now during the winter.
yes.
Where, I mean, letters are sent out, but how long it takes them to get forwarded may go over that period of time that we have.
But just for the record, I just wanted to clarify that we do have proof that they were mailed. That just
You know when it was mailed?
don't have that right now.
Okay. Okay, we'll close the public hearing. Have 62 days to make a decision. Get it through it tonight. Yep. Jan? Okay, the next two actually are on 4415 and 4417. I assume you're gonna do these together.
I'll do it in any way you would like me to do them. Good evening, I'm Mark Bayer with Bayer Landscape Architecture. I can present them jointly or I can present them independently, whatever you would prefer me to do.
Guess my thoughts are.
They're
My
asking
thoughts are
for the same thing,
I mean,
then go ahead and do the same thing.
similar,
Yeah.
They're essentially similar. So I'm here tonight on behalf of the Wegman family. And we're doing work at 4415 and 4417. The proposed work would be taking place. And essentially the project is very simple. We are proposing to have some fencing and a gateway at the two driveways, one at 4415 and one at 4417. It's basically one large family property, even though it has two parcels. And the goals of the project are very simple. There's two goals. One is to improve security for the family and privacy for the family. And second goal is to help manage a significant deer problem that they've had over the last several years. They've lost tens of thousands of dollars in plantings and landscape on the sites, and it's basically devastated all of the work that they did when they built, which dates back about 8 or 10 years ago. And so we're planning to install ornamental piers and fencing that would. This is the 4415 property, so there would be a gateway here. There's a similar gateway at 4417, and they are basically the reason we're here tonight is the height is greater than the allowed, which under section 220-9, the allowed height in the front yards and the rear yards is 4 feet and side yards is 6 feet. To accomplish both goals on the sites, we would propose doing the piers and the gateways at 7'4". That the reason for that is deer, for deer, so that we can keep the deer management out. It will also work well for security purposes. The important thing to note on both parcels is that at 4415, the gateway is set back. You can see the large map here. It's set back over 50 feet from the edge of pavement. It's tucked behind the hedgerow there. And on this parcel, it sits down 6.5 feet below the road. That is on 4415. So you can see in the cross section from the road, pedestrian, you're looking right over the top of that because of where it's positioned. It's very intentionally positioned well off the roadway, so that it's not present when driving by, and it's concealed behind the very heavy existing hedge and additional planting that we're going to be doing. And the gateway, although it is 7'4", the height of the upper portion is very open. So you're looking through it, and your eye level along the road is well above it, even at that. And it accomplishes the goal of looking really nice aesthetically. It's open at the top. It helps us manage the deer issue. And then off to each side, there's the piers to anchor it. And then off each side is ornamental fencing that will run the frontage. And that is basically vertical picket, open, but in black in color, so that it will recede into the vegetation. Again, these are running, if you know the properties, they're running behind the hedges. They both sit, again, below the road. On this one, we're in both of them, we're 10 feet behind the right of way, 30 feet back from the edge of pavement. And so we're very much removed and very much concealed. And that's very important to both of them. And it's both important from a design sense that it will not be present in any significant way from the right of way at all. At 4417, the O'Donnell Wegman property, we're actually 115 feet down the driveway with the gateway. And that, if you can bring that one up, it's a little easier to see on. So yes, so on this one, again, it's the same concept, except we're actually removed even further. There's a turnaround because they tend, younger family, they tend to get more deliveries, so they want to make sure there's a place for people to turn around and not have to back out onto the road. But again, pull down the driveway 115 feet. And again, here, it's even more significant. We are down below the road 12.5 feet from the grade at the road to the grade at the fence is 12.5 lower. So eye level, anybody looking in, you're looking right over the top of this. Similar to a design because it's a family property. So open at the top, and again, sightline is right over it, very much, tucked in behind the hedges and the plantings we're doing. And over here, this segment, as it runs to the south, we're 8 feet below the road, even with that fence. So the top of the fence is below the edge of pavement here as well, and heavily buffered, and in both cases not visible And then we are proposing along the side property lines, north and south, to have on the edge of the woodlands, there's woodlands, all parcels have woodlands on the edge because they have, you know, ravines running through there, and we're proposing a deer mesh to run along the top of the banks and along the edge of the woods to help with the deer management. And that, if you're familiar with deer mesh, it's like you put it along the edge of vegetation, you don't even see it. And so that's the enclosures that we're suggesting. One thing I do want to mention, a couple of things about, we've given a lot of thought to both the visibility and the aesthetics of this, but we've also given thought to how to manage and maintain habitat as well. So the family owns another 5 or 6 acres across the road that is not fenced, that is open, and we're maintaining approximately half-acre corridors running both the north ravine and the south ravine. So migration of animals can happen up and down the lake, and the lake frontages are completely open. We have to stay by code 15 to 20 feet off the water's edge. So our goal is to help, with 2 things again, to provide the family with more security and privacy, especially in these times, and the other goal being deer management. We recognize that wildlife will be coming in and out of these properties. We're just trying to mitigate it and slow it down so that they can have the environment that they want to and preserve the remaining plantings and be able to do so going forward. The other thing that I wanted to mention is we did look, we've thought a lot about how to do this so it doesn't have any impact on the neighborhood and so on. And there's many examples, and you may have seen some in our packet, of many fences along County Road 16 that are literally on the road. They are very impactful. And not all of them are impactful in a good way. Our goal here is to have little presence of this fence, as I've tried to explain to you. And we did some renderings. I don't know if we can bring those up to show you kind of our goal and how we're thinking about this. So this is 4417. We're kind of going past the property, so you could just barely see. This is 4417, sits back 100 down this driveway about 115 feet, and there are very tall hedges in much of this area. We're going to supplement with some additional vegetation. So your presence, when you drive down the road, most of you are going to see the hedge. You won't be able to peek through, but remember, as in the cross section, you can see that gate and fence sit way down, they sit down below the road. If you progress to the next one, again, the images are good with the lights on it. The gate's back there, it's heavily vegetated. Really will be, you have to be looking for it to even see it. So that is those renderings, and similar condition at 4415, the way we've got that plan. And you can pull it up or not, they're very similar. same kind of thing, as you're driving down the road with the hedges in place that exist, you really are gonna see very little of this gateway back there, again, it sits well below the road, in both cases, and I think that their presence is gonna be very minimal. So those are things that I wanted to speak to you about in terms of our design goals. The other thing that we again are cognizant of is maintaining the wildlife access corridors on both sides. We have a half-acre corridor on each side going down to the lake, and the lakefront is open. And the as far as impacts on neighborhoods, just going through some of your typical test questions, we don't see any detriment as far as impact on the neighborhood, given the position of these things, the aesthetics that we're using and concealing them. We really don't think there will be visibility at all from the road, and fortunate enough to have the existing vegetation plus the room to basically make them go away, and that's really the goal. So there really is no other way, as far as like a test question regarding seeking the benefit in another way in order to manage the significant deer problem. 7 to 8 feet is the range that is the recommended range for deer management. And height wise, there is no other way to do that. And I think with all of the factors that I've mentioned, although we are in excess of the height, given the position of the property, the care with which it's sited, planted, it really is not going to be substantial in any way. And like I said, no impact on the environment. We're not doing any grading or anything of any consequence grading wise. Very little vegetative disturbance, significant setbacks on the fencing, no visual impacts. It will more or less look the way it does today with some enhancements. And it's not something that they self-created in the sense that the deer issue is something that's just exploded since they built these homes. And it's very upsetting to them and cost obviously tens of thousands of dollars in damage. And with the current environment in our world, unfortunately, they do feel and want some added security as well. So that's a second factor. We really, I feel strongly about that. So I would love to answer any questions you have. I try to explain it as best I can.
You put back up, I just would like to see the placement of the fences on the sides.
You want to see both properties?
Well, you can start with this one, I guess.
So this is 4417.
Right.
So what our plan is to run just inside the wooded edge, and we will field place these. We just want to get on the we want to get onto the south edge of the property, just inside the woods. So we're going to try to preserve, like I said, a half-acre corridor unimpeded that will run the ravine. There's a drainage ravine there, and so we'll just be against the north edge of this southern ravine. And the same thing on the other. We're going to ride the top of the ridge on the north side, and there's a big ravine corridor here that goes right down to the lake, and we have to stop 15 or 20 feet shy of mean high water by regulation. And so that is the plan. And again, The family owns 5.5 acres up here. That will not be fenced or touched. It's just trying to preserve the areas around the homes. And again, you can see in both cases, I pointed out, but both gateways are in and they're down. And that is the case, you'll be able to look right over the top of those.
Is there existing fences along the ravine now?
No, well, they have some deer mesh out on the arborvitae by the road, I'm aware of.
So that's it, that's it.
As far as I know, yes.
A lot of the other trees that was down there today, you got a lot of spruce that have gone in and are really well established.
Yeah.
They aren't bothered by the deer.
The spruce aren't, so much of what's damaged is all of the embankment plantings, a lot of the ornamentals, they've been ripped out and we're finding even when 10 years ago, when this was done, 8-10 years ago, we didn't need anything here. The last 5 years, they've literally damaged everything, including the western arborvitae, which are along the road. We were starting to get browse up on those. So it's been a real problem, and I'm finding that it's intensified over the last few years.
Because I guess the problem I have is just with the interruption of movement of wildlife. I mean, if you've got a couple of corridors down to the lake, there are going to be some of those deers that are going to be going down to eat, to drink. They're going to end up on the inside of the fence.
Well, we don't see a problem with that for two reasons. During the day, the gate can be maintained as open if a deer is in there. And secondly, it's a pretty common practice, and we have done it on other projects. Is as far as any concerns over smaller mammals or things like that, reptiles, mammals, amphibians. What we have done elsewhere, and we can do some of it here, is we've used basically eco pipes, we call them, and essentially they're every couple 100 feet under the deer fence, we'll put a 8 or 10 inch culvert tunnel, so anything following the fence line can scoot under and through. And we've done that on other projects. It's something that's been adopted by Fish and Wildlife, organizations, highway administrations. It's a really common practice, and it's very effective. And we've done it elsewhere, and we can do it here.
That was another concern I have. I didn't know whether you could keep out most everything if you just brought the fence up off the ground.
I think the preferable way to do it, because is to provide again these sort of eco tunnels, and essentially we deliberately install them so if there is a question of raccoon or whatever, rabbits will go under anyway, groundhogs will go under anyway. But if there was a turtle or something that wanted to get under, or other animals that aren't as good at burrowing, we have used these effectively to allow passage, but still accomplish what we're trying to do, which is cut down on damage. And we are under no illusion that we're not going to have deer. We're going to have deer. They're going to come from the lake. But if we can cut down 50 to 75% of the traffic, that's huge. And it's been a nightmare. And it's, it's something that, the US Forest Service is having problems with, and they're losing forest cover, saplings. It's a management problem, and the deer population has exploded, and there's no predators, as you know. And again, we're not under any illusion that we're going to stop it. We don't intend to. We're not going to. Nobody wants to fence the lake. They're going to come up, and that's okay. But if we can cut this down, so we can actually take care of and maintain the place and have it look nice, and not have it decimated every year, that is what we're trying to accomplish.
The gates will be open during the day.
We'd open some, there's full-time staff there. So if there is ever deer within the property, the gates are going to be open.
ECB had mentioned in their discussion, in their presentation, that if we were to approve this, it would be good to have a report, I think, on how this has worked. I think every year. Has it kept them out? Has it? Has it still have a problem?
Yeah, no, I'd love to do that. We have other test sites that we've been doing this, and we have a huge problem in Brighton, Pittsford areas right now. Similar things. We've done a few kind of similar properties there. We're having very good luck. We do have intrusions. We do have other animals intentionally coming in, but it's manageable, and we can still do a good job on meeting the owner's needs, and also allowing wildlife coming in and out, but limiting the deer population in and out. And on that parcel, I'm thinking about I don't know how familiar you are with Allen's Creek, but we have similar situation. We kept and held off of Allen's Creek so that there's a corridor, and that wildlife corridor is heavily used. Same thing's going to happen here, because the deer will come down those two ravines. They'll go to the lake. We'll get some in. We'll have to let some out, but we can do that.
Anyone else?
I have three problems with this. I totally empathize with the security side of this thing, especially with what's going on. I don't have any answers for that. I do know if you want to fix your deer problem, put a border collie out on a deer fence, problem solved.
Yeah.
Or on a dog fence. But anyway, my issue is the issue of precedence. And I don't want Canandaigua turned into Palm Beach, or gated community. The affluence around the lake is frankly, it's staggering. But if I lived on the lake, I would want a 7.5 foot fence too. And I don't see how we can stop somebody else that wants to come in and do exactly what you want to do. Probably not nearly as well done, because you guys do everything beyond first class. And so that's just looking at this one particular, achievement is one thing, but nobody else is going to do it that way. And yet we're going to sit here and say, well, this was granted, and so where do we go from there? So we've got the precedents, we've got the gated community thing, and I think you're being kind of naive to think that this isn't going to affect your neighbors, because I live on a farm, and I know how deer move, and I know a little patch of soybeans. They're going to feed where they want to feed, and you might very well. This could work wonderful. You're going to keep all the deer out of where you are right now, but they're going over to your neighbor's ornamental plants. They're not going to just congregate at the 5 acres across the road. They're going to feed where they want to feed, and they're a huge problem. I give them credit for trying to solve this any way that they can, but those are my three issues.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think the other, I've done this a long time, and I think, and I've been a member of the zoning board for 15 years or so prior to this, or back in the day. And the one thing that I've learned is that precedent is one thing to consider, but I think every application has to be considered on its own merits, obviously, and the job that that the applicant is showing that they're going to do. And I think, we've, hopefully proved over the years that what we say we're going to do, we do. And it's done well. And I think those are important considerations every variance has considerations like that, whether it's a setback variance, every one of them has to be considered on its merits. And I think that's only fair to the applicants and the way zoning board works, because that's why we have zoning boards that have to look at each case.
Anyone else? Any questions? Any questions from the audience? Any questions from people at home? Don't see any. You comfortable with closing public hearing? You comfortable?
Unless anybody the board has any other questions or concerns, I just want to make sure I try to address any concerns.
I think you have. Yeah.
Through a presentation.
Yeah. We'll close the public hearing. We have 62 days to make a decision, but we'll make every effort to do it tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, one more. 5,000 Butler Road. What do you think of that? But they aren't here.
Let me check my messages.
Oh, I have to go ahead and put that off till next time. Oh, great. See that, so let's go back. We will discuss 351 Clifton Plan generator.
Maybe refuel that. Is that gonna block any access roads? Is there a place to refuel that?
I'm sorry?
When they refuel it?
There's an access road fairly near it.
So it's not gonna construct.
It's natural gas, right? It's natural gas piped in.
Oh,
It's
natural gas.
It's dual fuel propane, or it's natural gas. Straight up, continuous, no tanker, no nothing. The only thing will be the install. That's
burns cleaner too, right? No.
Servicing, they're still.
They're servicing and little changes of things, but there is access to it.
People ready to vote? Okay. Call the question.
Shall the requested variance be granted? Shannon?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Ellie?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Chip?
Yes.
I think that's suggestion that you include a condition or consider a condition that applicant will coordinate routine event schedule with adjacent property owners.
Also,
absolutely.
In addition to your 2 standard conditions.
As presented tonight, and then also this will be done within a year. The other things I would add, this is it's not a major variance. It will not change the character of the neighborhood. Because of advantage to more advantage to the variance seekers. Let's see.
Neighbors agreed.
Pardon me.
The neighbors were okay with it.
I think one thing I would put in there also is that the landscaping as presented must be completed within a year or two.
You wanna include the distance, it's 72 decibels. And that's how far away from the adjacent house?
Oh, 65 feet probably.
At least 65 feet.
I don't know what it is offhand, but I mean, it's.
Yeah,
it's
probably reasonable.
Looking at the property line, then I don't.
That's different than a 72 decibel 15 feet away.
That'd be a good
And
idea.
it's buffered with cancer setting.
And it's buffered landscape.
Yeah. Okay. The other thing would be, what was the one? No, that was, anything else anyway? Okay. So on that one. Let's see. Going to Johnson Road.
Substantial.
I have concerns with this one.
So does it actually meet is it a flag lot or is it not by definition?
Well, it doesn't apply is what,
It's not, it's 3 acres or more. This is just a 3
Okay.
acres, that doesn't apply.
but if you do
That's
the
right.
math, if you were to ignore that and do the math, it does, the calculation.
Present, right. Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
It's not like the neighbors, even where they did,
Right.
I like where you suggested where due to
Expand
side
it.
by side the full length as opposed to doing the flag. I would
Right.
be much more comfortable with that as a variance. Because rather than putting the house, let the house be able to line up with the others rather than put it behind. Because otherwise we really are doing the flag thing. We're trying not to. In my opinion.
It's certainly self-created. I think they're certainly heard enough from the neighbors. They're not really big fans of this whole thing.
Yeah.
What about adding on to the existing house at some point? I mean, that could be an option, like a mother-in-law type of situation if they needed to be there for care. That's an option, I think.
I'm just looking at the variance as it stands. There's a few strikes against it. That's all I'm trying to say. It's not working. I know what they're trying to do, and I totally agree with what they're trying to do. However,
Right.
it's 40% would leave 120 feet. It's over that. It's
The other.
So can I ask you guys a question? So you would be more comfortable, like you said, Shannon, if they split that?
Yep.
And ask for 2 variances?
Yep.
Without prejudicing or guaranteeing any results.
Right.
Correct.
Obviously, Shannon's just saying it's a gut reaction without
Right, right.
reviewing it, that would be better. in
Okay,
your
yeah, I just
opinion.
wanted, because I've been working closely on this one and
Mhm.
their alternative also is not even to get a variance, just to do ADU,
Correct,
which would be a second house on that one lot.
correct.
So, and we had discussed that, but all right, I just wanted to get an idea because
How large
I'll
can
work
the,
on more.
How large can ADU be?
It can be just under the size of the other house.
Yeah.
It has to be subservient to the other house. But it has to use the same utilities and the same septic
Right,
system. if it's
on the same,
So septic system would have to be, instead of making a new one, they'd have to make that one bigger, yeah.
the complaints that we've heard from the neighbors have been, don't like the house behind the house. They would like it up closer to the road.
That's progress, you know what I mean?
No, I understand that, but I'm just trying to, how could this be remedied to,
Right.
accommodate the neighbors as well as maybe, character of the neighborhood. And clearly, if, I understand Anthony presented the flag lots that were there, but they're all probably were there much before the code is. So-
Yeah, a lot of them were before the code was changed, but the severity of those flags, we're looking at
It's
50-foot.
There's not any, nobody's asking to put a house on them yet, so.
No, but.
So possibility would. Might be there's.
Yeah, I think there's a different way to do this that would be less impact. to the character and the neighbors. This is the proper way to say it.
Kelly, you have anything else?
Yeah.
No.
The house where the sun is closer. Oh, sorry.
No, I think I'm good. I'm, you know, we have this often, so it seems like.
Okay, we'll call the question.
Shall the requested lot width variance of 83.2 feet be granted? Shannon?
No.
Dave?
No.
Ellie?
No.
John?
No.
Joe?
No. Benefit to the applicant does not outweigh the benefit to the neighborhood. It would not be consistent with the character of the neighborhood. It is a major variance in terms of over 40% required. It looks like there may be a way, albeit having to get into more, legal things in terms of changing lot lines, there may be a way in which they could do what they wish to do.
That would impact on the physical conditions of the neighborhood. That's detailed in the letters submitted by the
I
neighbors.
guess that would be the other thing, that there are multiple neighbors that. And it is self-care creative, but that's not in and of itself a reason not to do it. Anything else? All right, take the two county road ones together. Vote separately, but it's basically the same question.
Yeah, no, that's fine. It's up.
I mean, the gates and things, I certainly don't have a problem with it. They get those way back off the road, makes a nice point of the driveways going down, not gonna obstruct people's view. I guess the only thing I have trouble with, and is and I didn't realize they could put the little tunnels underneath. That's important because a lot of animals migrate through this.
You charge a little toll for each rabbit.
Toll per rabbit.
We all have, I mean, obviously, I have deer that circle my house. Literally, they drive by like all the time. Just as soon as anything thawed out, they were mowing it down. So I can't have anything either, as we all know in that area. But I don't know. It's pretty substantial. It almost warrants a little more research. But I'm with you on the, I don't mind the gates. They're tasteful, and I know they'll do them well. But I'm just not sure I'm on board with the whole wraparound approach, I guess. Yeah.
And one can go with quote deer resistant plantings, but they're pretty limited when you come right down. We had our holly bushes taken out this winter.
They get mine all the time.
The only thing really they don't touch is boxwood, but the boxwood is dying also around here. So.
Is there something specific, like from a safety perspective? Is it just more, obviously, the world is a different place these days, but if there was, from a security perspective, they had mentioned a couple of times, is that a factor or?
Well, I think it would seem that security wouldn't be the major issue because if somebody really wants to get in there at night, they can go down and go around the fence.
The ladder.
They're gonna want
ladder
to
feature on the fence.
The ladder feature on the fence. Yeah. I don't know. ECB did say if we were to approve it, they would like to see a report and we could condition an approval on the report.
Yeah. What about what Dave said too about everybody else copycatting it?
Well, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
So, one thing that the zoning board is, and the ECB actually referenced that, you know, what you have to be is concerned about setting precedent. And I think you said that this is gonna be, you know, the gold standard, but we have to be concerned with setting a precedent. Are there things about this parcel? Take one, the first parcel, and then the second parcel that distinguish it from other similar parcels in the area? I mean, that my recollection is they're both huge, but I know there's also other large, similarly large parcels. You know, with similarly large parcels, but these both have, you know, very long driveways. And then below grade, the driveways both slope sort of immediately to the point where it will be below grade. I don't know, it's an analysis you'll have to do with Dan, Mike's help.
One of the advantages is they're two properties together, so they only have to ask for the fence on one side of each property. Going down the middle of the property.
And once you approve one, the character of the neighborhood is really easy to satisfy on the second.
I do like where you're going though, as far as to address precedents, the angle, the sight line, the angle of the sight line has, you know, is a factor in that it is going downhill and you're able to look over it.
All the other ones right up on the road
Yeah.
on Westlake Road are not that high.
Yep, there is a difference between 7 feet way down there and 7 feet like right here.
Right. Yeah, it's not gonna be impeding anybody's view, and we're all familiar with that property. Because that was the guy, there was another person living on that property years ago. Chip, you probably remember that. Yeah, Mr. Bell, that was his forever home, but apparently not. So yeah, so I mean, it's very sloping down there, and we know that they'll do a good job with it. But that's why I was saying maybe there's more research to be known about this. I mean, seeing that the ECB seems to be intrigued by it, but this is a tough one.
Fences on the side on these properties too can be set back into the woods.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Which again,
I do like that it's a large enough part, they're two large enough parcels that they can leave substantial pathways.
You know,
It's not like it's leaving 6 inches or whatever.
exactly, and I think all these things distinguish it from a lot of the parcels on the lake. Now, does it set a precedent for some of the parcels on the lake? Probably. And I think you can probably think of most of them off the top of your head that are similar in size and shape, location, house, distance. And if they come in, they're, you might be not necessarily boxed in, but you may have set a precedent. But this, I think it is distinguishable from, I guess, most of the parcels on the lake. So not everybody can come in. When you gave the Troy Wegman one.
I don't know, I just think it'd be very hard to tell someone no. And then they say, well, I mean, this was done. And you could say, well, this is different, but if the code wants to go ahead and allow that, fine, but the code isn't specific on the difference in the property, and you are not gonna find another property like this one. I mean, I think everybody will acknowledge that.
That parcel is pretty specific, like pretty unique in that regard. I mean, there are other houses next to it, but they kind of slope down, it's a little flatter area, or there's some other differentiating factor. So I don't know. I mean, I get what you're saying, definitely, Dave. It is a precedent that would be setting.
I just don't want to see Canandaigua Lake be gated communities. It's really what you're doing when you start putting fences that high. And not in this case, because frankly, you're not even going to see the fence. But you are going to see it if it's down closer to Butler Road. So it's.
you're relying on deer fence though to be a gated community.
The deer will win.
That'll take it out.
No, you're not. It's not all deer.
No, the
No,
gates
just that-
are.
No, but up front, and that's only the front.
Well, it's the height that I think, everybody gotta get into different dynamics of how the fence is constructed, and we did we got into that down at the, with the marina there, with the picket fence allowing view, but I just think that there's a reason why the code is structured for the height that it is, and again, that's something that the ordinance committee should revisit if they want to see the lake fenced off, then I think this is the way to go. And I do understand what and this is beautiful property. No one's gonna see this thing. The gates you can't even see the gates.
Well, that was why I asked about the security issue. I mean, is there a real need for the security side of it? I mean, that I thought maybe there was something specific, so.
Well, it would keep cars from just driving down at night, which I'm sure probably happens. We have, the houses are not occupied a lot of the year.
But a 5-foot fence would do that too, or a 4-foot fence, or whatever.
Just can do that. Ready to
Yeah, I think
call for it?
Now, Chip, are we calling these individually for different quotes or?
I recommend.
Yeah, we should.
1, 2, 7. Okay, so this is for 4415. Shall the height variance requests of 3 foot 4 inches and 1 foot 6 inches be granted? Shannon,
yes.
Dave,
No,
Kelly,
No,
Chip,
Yes.
John,
No. Okay, the benefit to the detriment.
you didn't make that tonight. We have 3 no's.
You got denied.
Yeah, but I was gonna give you.
Oh, you were doing it. I'm sorry, that sentence usually ends
I know.
reverse, so
I should. Yeah. Well, the benefit does not outweigh the detriment to the neighborhood. It's based on data presented here tonight. It's a significant variance request. And
well,
maybe, I think they could do some of the security issues. Perhaps at least using gates so that people can drive in.
runs the risk of making the lake a gated community. I think Dave's point is well taken there. The board couldn't find, the majority of the board couldn't distinguish
A unique
this
business
property from other properties on the lake, so it would set a precedent. Or could run the risk of setting a precedent. For my no votes, how would you relate this to the character of the lake? Mark Baer submitted photographs of fences and structures at the road. I think your point is well taken, that they're not identical, they're not similar to what is being proposed here.
Yes, that can also be used for yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I just think it's a substantial variance, against the code, and I think it stands the chance of causing problems down the line. Again, the town has already established a code against this, and I just think it opens up Pandora's box as far as where this could lead.
well, and my concern too, I understand the corridors, like, and I really, honestly, I know they do everything tasteful and wouldn't be able to see the fence, but the problem I kind of had was, I mean, you are that flow of deer are gonna be dispersed elsewhere. And so I'm just curious, like that, I don't feel like I had enough of I don't know. I feel like that's kind of a cluster. I'd need more research on that personally, but to feel comfortable voting yes.
For the
Go on to
reasons- reasons also stated by the EC.
Yeah, they were pretty much against it. According to the.
They were interested in finding out what I happened to do. The way I read it.
Well, they were issued, they mentioned the precedence issue as well.
I got the other one.
4417,
Gotta call the vote.
pardon me,
You have to call the vote.
Okay, sure.
call the question.
Shall the height variance request of 3 foot 4 inches and 1 foot 6 inches be granted? Shannon,
Yes.
Dave,
No,
Kelly,
No.
Chip,
Yes.
John.
No.
You went as long as forever.
For the same reason.
I have a.
If I voted yes, everybody would have just been really confused.
I think every single one of you thought about it lately. What did I do? You can see all of your faces.
I knew what I did.
Okay, that does, we'll have to carry 5,000 Butler Road on. Any requests for rehearings? Referrals from town, referrals from the board. Good night.
Have a good night, Mark.
Thank you.
Good night.
Okay, other business, yes. Oh,
Can we figure out why none of my emails work? Since I got turned on to the town email, I not only not get email to my personal account, I don't get email to my town account. And it does work. I can send stuff to myself and it comes here. So, and you've sent stuff to me
Yes,
and it comes to
I
me.
discussed it with Kristen this morning and
group.
Yeah.
And my C is there and it's for me, but yet it doesn't accept me to be a member. It says, because I tried to go in and sign the information from the group and said, you're not a member.
Yep.
And so that just needs to be, and I tried to become a member, it says you weren't invited or something.
yeah, we don't understand what's going on.
That was sad. I want to have a meeting tonight.
Okay, if it's,
Don't make Shannon stay.
I would be just as happy with it all going back to my personal account. This is now 4 emails we have to check on a regular basis.
Well, figure
On my personal.
No, let's just have, maybe Tyler or you can reach
Yeah,
out.
we're
get it
gonna-
all set up.
Yeah, that was on my list to talk to the board about tonight.
Okay,
We are gonna review that with our IT here. There is reasons why you need to be using the town account.
which I'm happy to. I'd loaded it on my phone.
Yep, no, and I understand having multiple email accounts because I'm right there with you. But yeah, there's reasons behind it, that I'm not gonna get into tonight, but I'm sure Chris will concur with me that it is a good use. Concur with you. Thank you.
Yeah.
But.
Should we talk about those?
We'll look into it. I do have some other things, but I don't know if Chris wants to go.
We have other business, submitted to you earlier today were proposed findings in relation to the Cassie Brewers Fall interpretation appeal, which you voted on in January. The meeting in February is canceled, so this is your first opportunity to review them. I was, I had the opportunity to discuss with some of the members individually. And I'm happy to answer any questions at this point. If anybody has any questions.
I thought they were very well put forward, and I didn't feel like I needed to be an attorney to read them. They were very, very clear.
How hard that is for me to know. How much work did it make it like that?
Well, you wouldn't want to read one of my medical records.
No.
Either, so.
So we look for, if there's no questions, we look for a motion to adopt the findings in support of the board's decision.
I'll make the motion.
Second,
Also,
For discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Ellie,
Aye.
and so. Mike, Dan, Kim and Corinne, can you coordinate to adopt these and attach them to the decision sheet that Chip signed already, issuing the decision? The minutes here will reflect that they were adopted here, and so that there's not confusion. But that would work.
There's,
Can I ask a question?
I don't think so.
I mean,
Yeah.
you.
Yes,
Yes, okay, two. First one is, did you get the message that I typed up and pasted in the chat?
I just,
looking at it now.
here it is.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I'd like that in the minutes. Also, is there a way that we can get a copy of what the findings were?
Yes.
Mike will forward them to you tomorrow or Thursday. And then I'd suggest we copy and paste Marion's message and just insert it right into the minutes if we can.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. Any other thing?
I do. Chris, did you want to talk about this, decision sheets?
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. And subject to this board's approval. I know it's hard for you, Chip, especially when you're out of town, to get in and sign. And talking with Dan, I researched, the chair's not required to sign unless you really, really want that obligation. You could have a staff member sign. It's really an attestation. I think that would not hold for specific ones where we made findings that you don't want to confirm were there, but really they should be signed, but doesn't seem to be asked to sign.
I guess there's been one or two times when going over them, I thought they needed to change.
Do you come in to sign them all the time?
Yeah.
And if you're comfortable, I mean, I guess maybe the better way to do it then would be, if you wanted, you don't have to sign them here, you can sign them at home and scan them, or approve them via email and have Dan sign them, or digitally sign. There's no reason to, to make you under pressure timeline.
So I have something on that. So when I send these in, they usually don't go to Chip because he has been coming in to sign them. Do you want me to just send them when I send them to the homestead? That I'll just include you in that, which would be tomorrow, because they have to be in by tomorrow.
Chip, why don't you work it out with Dan?
Okay.
The process that works the best to get everybody.
We're just trying to make it easy.
All right, I appreciate that. I mean,
So-
generally, it's not a problem.
Because I'm just thinking if he's got them, if he gets signed, gets them earlier.
So the other thing that we've been looking at, and Chris, I was hoping that you're weighing on this too, is a digital signature. So that we're not having to scan it in items. So that our record keeping is.
You can do it just a lot more efficiently. I mean.
Well, right, I mean, if we're digitally signing things, then. when we
You mean,
upload
for
it-
instance, like decision sheets?
Kim, you might be able to speak to this. I don't-
Where we're having trouble right now is E-code is warning us because we usually have a secretary signing proof minutes, we scan, uploading them, and it's complaining that
That's a lot of
it's going to change.
pixels.
Yeah, be a harder time for people using, maybe screen readers or other things like that. So it does change the quality. It's a picture now rather than text.
I am usually a real stickler about, no, you're gonna sign it with a pen, and you're gonna drop it in the mail. Except in this case, I could see, I mean, we kind of got play with it, but there's so much distribution of this, if you wanted to just write S, type S/3 match. I don't have a problem with that, because it's not like anybody's gonna wonder which was the copy you signed, because they'll get it immediately after you signed it, they're distributed, they're filed in the office. I mean, I don't have a problem with that, to typing your name as the.
Okay, so I wouldn't have to come in and sign them anymore, because I've been signing everybody. I have been.
I have the Adobe Acrobat, I can send.
I was gonna say, there's tools for
You know, an
signature.
electronic signature, she can just.
Yeah, that would be even better, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, though that, I'm okay with. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of stuff that people need to sign contracts. Except for some kind, you should all be signing on in person and making sure that the other guy is signing in person. Because there's somebody typing their name at the bottom of the document, doesn't necessarily mean it's a binding contract. And when you buy or sell a
Electronic
house,
signatures, they really.
those suffice in in most situations.
The
I'll tell you,
Adobe
when
thing.
you go to buy or sell a
Exactly.
house, you're gonna be shocked, because you have to show up, have to sign a bunch of stuff with a pen, because real estate transact need to be recorded with actual signatures. And every time lawyers tell their clients that, it's, oh, well, I'll just dot and sign. No, you're gonna show up and you're gonna have a pen. Yeah, I think, why not give it a try?
So my other items.
This list is getting a little.
I know. So we already talked about emails. We're looking into that. PRC was today, using our new process, which has a full report. Instead of having you guys go in and look at multiple documents in the cloud permit, it will have one report that will have all that information pulled into it so that you can review them more efficiently. And then you can see our comments. Unfortunately, I think the first one won't be until your next meeting that you'll see that format. And it won't be for like this Butler Road one that will still be on the old format, but starting next month, you'll see, I think one of them will be on the new format, and then everything going forward is going to be on that format. It went very well this morning, I think, at our first PRC with that format. The applicants were very pleased and liked having that whole report. That's all they had to look at instead of multiple reports from every agency.
So when we go on, we just click on whatever the application is, and that's gonna.
Kim, can you bring up one that it's easier to show you than.
Yeah. Because this way, the way we have it now is not great.
So if you go almost all the way to the bottom, you gotta get by all this other stuff. And you'll see all the individuals there, but then. Keep going just a little bit farther, under reports, see where it says circulation report? If you download that report, like I said, this is almost all the way at the bottom. So it's better to just scroll all the way to the bottom. It's going to give you a brief description, who we referred it to, and everybody's comments. All in one document.
No, these, just to be clear, these are the full comments, just copied and pasted.
Yep.
And not a summary. So,
Not a summary.
so everyone knows they don't have to also go look at.
Correct.
And my ZLD will be in there with revisions needed.
My TLC on
Zoning law determination.
Wait, tell me the ZLD, how do you?
Yeah, so it's at the very bottom of the report. There.
Right there, so. And if there's any revisions needed, they'll be listed there, and then once the applicant takes care of that, then I will rewrite it and put it into the application as completed zoning law determination.
So today, when we met with the applicant, we told him that all this needs to be corrected.
This was completed, this document was completed.
This document was completed, given to the applicant, and said, if you want to move on to the boards, this all has to be addressed. And we gave it a due date, which right now is Monday. And then if we get it all back, Kristen will review it. Mike will review it also and update his zoning determination. And a new packet will be given to the boards. So just some new information, but we're trying to make it easier for the boards to not have to look at all these different spots, so you can go to one spot and find
But the other things like site plans and everything else,
are still,
they're still on separate. Okay.
yes.
Just we have to scroll past them to get to this.
Well, and so, but you know how that you would also get, well, here's one revision and here's another revision.
Mhm.
This is supposed to fix it, because now they're getting a whole document saying, okay, we want these all in one revision. So you'll see the original.
Here's our response to MRB's comments. Here's a response to the highway superintendent's comments.
Right, so it should eliminate, or not eliminate, but limit how many documents are getting attached. Does that make sense? There are questions on
Let
that?
you know.
All right, yeah, no, and again, as we move through this, the same thing we told everybody at PRC today. If it's not working or you're having trouble with it, communicate with us and we will continue to tweak it and try to make it better. The last thing I promised I want to talk about is training. As you guys know, you have your training requirements. If you see any classes that you're interested in, let me know and I will sign you up. There is a planning conference, spring conference in Batavia that's coming up, if anybody's interested. It's a one-dayer in May. I think it's on a Thursday. Can't remember the date at the top of my head, but any other things that come up that you see that you want to go to, let me know. I'll sign you up, take care of it, and we'll get it taken care of for you.
Do you think they'll have another one? You think they'll have another one in Canandaigua this summer?
Probably. And then there's usually a fall conference, pretty local as well. So there's opportunities. I just like to get them out to you guys early, because if there's something on the agenda that catches your eye. I said it's going to the same conference every year and hearing about the same things. It's always good to broaden your horizon.
I'll send out an email tomorrow to the Ontario County Planning Board, there's a lot of training resources
Right.
at the end of their minutes. I'll send all that out in a message and just, I know you have some new people and stuff, so.
Yes.
Might be helpful.
And MRB does webinar once a month. It's a
Yes.
1 hour. Yes, it's an easy way to, they're usually on a Thursday night to get an hour of credit. We can send that out as well as a reminder.
Do we get that notification? Or is this something new they just started?
I believe that they've been doing it for a couple of years now.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they send out a notification about once a month. You can send out,
Okay.
sign up for all of them for the year, or you can do it monthly.
When it's time, yeah.
But we'll send that out as well.
And once you sign
Okay.
up for one, Kelly, you get the advertisement forever after that, every month.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Dan, did the board omit
Wait a
the
minute.
approval of the minutes?
We're getting to that, Marion.
Okay, I just thought you were done. Okay.
No. We need an approval of the minutes,
January minutes.
January minutes. They look fine to me. There were some minor changes I suggested. Marion actually had made a number of changes also. But I think we can approve it as distributed.
Okay.
And the revisions can be accepted into the record.
Yeah.
Right, as proposed, as comments.
Right.
Okay,
All in favor?
sure,
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you. Okay.
I am not here next month.
Mm.
Fine.
No, it's vacation.
Oh, well, I'm with that.
We planned this all so that John could get, not get fired all the time.
Saw him show up, she's like, I'm out of here.
Jason will be back. Okay. Close the. Is there a motion to close the
Made
meeting?
motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
All right, thank you.
See you guys.
You know, did you see the thing with Susan?
Can I ask you a